Page 39, Hava Nagila. I like this piece, I really do. There's all kinds of arrangements of this piece. You can really get into it. But let's talk about this arrangement. Cut time, so 2/2 time. There's, let's see, you're counting to 2 and a half note gets a count. All right. However, when I'm studying a piece in cut time, I study it in 4/4 time first. I turn it into 4/4 time, and then I'll put it in cut time after I know it. It's just easier to count it that way. That way, here a half note would get a count, a quarter note would get half a count, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. It's not that bad here because there's no eighth notes involved. But I still want to slow it down to learn it, so I'm going to count it in 4. And then it's 1 flat. We're still in the key of D minor. Make sure you can do the scales for F major and D minor. If you know the scales, go 2 octaves up and down. If you don't know the scales, 1 octave. Don't push this. Take it a little at a time. It would also help, in my opinion, here if you go ahead and start doing the arpeggios for F major and D minor also. At least 1 octave up and down. And for those, I really encourage you to do that tremolo exercise I give in my scale videos. That will do so much good in helping you spread your fingers out and get used to this and more control when you play the pieces. Now, Hava Nagila, going to start out in the right hand. This is all octaves, mostly. So it's here. And they're saying you can use on all the black key octaves, that's where both notes are black keys. You can, if you want, use 4th fingers. It depends. It's like in the second measure. You have a C sharp and a B flat. I will use a 1/5 on the first one and then a 1/4. Because to me that's just easier. If you have little hands, you got to use 1/5 on both. I see no reason to use 1/4 on both. You can if you want to. I mean, there's no rule says you have to do this or that or whatever. But I'm going to use 1/5 and then 1/4. And there's just here. Now here I'm using 1/4 on both of these. Take it as it comes, 1/5 or 1/4 as you see fit. And that's pretty much it all the way through. It's just octaves. And it's a D minor scale. You know, harmonic minor, remember. Or use a C sharp. That's very common. Left hand broken chords. You have the C sharp, G. Just rotating here, passing the way from one side of the hand to the other. That's the end of the first line. It's here. No big deal. Okay. At the end of the second line, block chords. Just keep it 1/5 is fine. Now, third line down, last 2 measures. For the E, B flat, you can use a 5/2. I like that. That keeps your hand out here. Never mind what it sounds like, just play it. Because if you do that, your hand's up here. Use thumb. So here, 2. And then I use 3/1 then here, because I'm kind of going back and forth. I'm in this position. But you can use 5/1 in the last line if you'd rather. And then the last 2 measures, it's here. That A is tied. Hang on to it as you play the last note. You can use thumb on that if you want. Here. Put the hands together. This should be interesting. Here. Let's go on into the second line. You're here. I don't like that harmony. I mean, it is, you can see the name of the chord. It's a G minor 6th with E on the bottom. A G minor is here, and a 6th is adding the 6th of it here. And then with the E on the bottom, it's here. And that's really what it is, where the G is being played here, and you're not using the D. And that's, except you're down here. It's just, in my opinion, it doesn't sound real good this low. So, however, whatever. That's what's written. It really is what's written. You know, you don't need to get your ears cleaned out or nothing. It's really there. Okay, that's what they wanted. Not what I would have chosen for that, but all right. Now, as far as articulation goes, there really isn't much of anything. You just play the thing. They do have the tenutos. Just hang on to those. I don't know if this book wants you to put more stress on them or not. I wouldn't worry about it. Just hang on. Don't cut them short. They're doing it on all the 8 half notes. It's like they do want them a little bit, just a hair louder. Just a hair louder than the other notes. I don't know that that's needed, but that's the articulation that's there. Then the dynamics applies to the octaves. Moderately loud, whatever you think that is. Keep this broken chord in the left hand soft in the background. And then at the end of the second line, you go up a little bit to loud. Now, because this to me sounds terrible, I tend to play it even softer because I don't want to hear it. It's up to you though. The right hand though is what needs to be loud, and then it ends very loud. You see there at the end here. Now you can play the left hand loud. It's because very loud, loud. I want to hear this all the time I'm playing this. I want to hear that. Speed, well, we got to put it back and cut time now. Well, feel it in 2. 1, 2, 1. It's a fairly fast 2 also. It's a 1, 2, 1, 2. About that fast, in my opinion, that has no business being in this book at this point. That's way too fast. Playing these octaves. Now, if you can play them that fast or learn to play them that fast, more power to you. Just make sure you keep flexing the wrist here. Don't get where you're using the whole arm on this. Don't tense up like that. I'll leave the speed up to you, but you want to feel it in 2. See, I'm not playing at 120 like they're suggesting. I mean, that's even faster than that. The metronome markings are suggestions. They're not absolutes. And they will differ from person to person. So I take them as a general guide, but then it's up to me and how fast do I feel this? You know, how much beer have I had to drink, or wine or ale or whatever they're drinking? I don't know. It's just, that's as the party gets on, it speeds up. I mean, this is one of those pieces where sometimes it starts out slow. And as you're going into it, after you've done it a while, then you speed it up. Gradually speeds up until it's going so fast everybody's having a ball. Then they've added pedal. Well, it's kind of choppy. It'd be nice to have some pedal. The problem is it can get awfully blurry. I mean, even fast, it can still get blurry. Although if it's fast, we can usually handle blurriness because it goes by so fast. If it were a slow piece, we don't want a lot of blurry because we got a lot of time to hear the notes and the blurriness. They're overlapping it pretty much throughout. If I do it that way, this is what it sounds like. I'm going to push the notes down first and then the pedal. I'm going to change the pedal after I play the notes. So forth. If you like that, you're fine with it, fine with it. I don't like it at all. It's like in the second measure, I don't want to catch that's too much. So on the measure with the quarter notes in it, measures, I'm going to change it with each half note. I'm going to change it with each beat. That way it's not quite so blurry, but I can still connect it. Now on the second ending there on the second line here. I'm going to lift the pedal up, so I want to hear a staccato. I don't want to cover that up. So we have just a hair of silence, and then we go on. And at the end of at the bottom there where the repeat sign is, with the rest, I'm going to lift it up. I want to hear a rest. So here, there. And at the end, the last two, the hands and the pedal all come up together. And they're changing the pedal at the end. I disagree. Just hold the pedal down through both measures there at the end. That's fine. It's very loud. It's now. So just let the overtones ring out. Now if you take it up to speed, about 120, then you can get away with pedaling it just like they're telling you to, except I'd still lift up for the rests. I want to hear the rests. So it's about like this.